Hello again, beautiful artists, and welcome back to another episode of Paint Along with Skye. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Skye and I post beginning level acrylic painting tutorials here on YouTube every Saturday. So make sure to hit subscribe so you can join the fun and paint along. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. Alright, so this week it is officially September, which if you guys didn't know is pre-Halloween season. So all of October is Halloween and September is pre-Halloween, in my opinion. So we have another Halloween themed painting this week. I'll throw in some fall paintings for everyone too, but I'm a huge Halloween lover. So today we have a spooky painting of a graveyard through a little graveyard gate. And I'm going to be using my 4 standard brushes for this class as per usual. So these come in a kit with 4 sizes. Comes with a large square wash brush, a medium-sized pointed brush, and 2 detail brushes, different sizes there, small and smallest. Gonna get those in the water cup off the side of the screen. The colors that I have to start with today's background step, I have some cobalt blue, a fair amount of white, black, and some burnt sienna warm brown. To see a full materials list of everything that you need to paint along, check the description box below. I think we are ready to go ahead and jump on in. All right, so before we get rocking and rolling here, I want to do a little bit of like a sketch. And I'm going to take my second to smallest detail brush for this. And I'm going to sketch out some shapes here with a light gray. And I'm going to block out where I'm going to have my wall, my graveyard wall, and where the gate is going to poke through here to the background. So let's start with a horizon line. So I'm going to start right where my wall would touch the ground. I don't want to go too far over because I want to make sure that I have enough space here for the gate and enough to see where our graveyard is going to be. We want to be able to see through to the graveyard for added spookiness. And I'm just going to do a rectangle here. So I just went a few inches up with that. And then I still have room up here too for my sky. And then I'm going to try to copy that on the other side. I want it to go to right about the same level, and I went a little low there, so I'm just adjusting things slightly in this sketch stage. And once we fill in, we can refine things a little bit too. We're just blocking out where our gate is going to be and adjusting things slightly so that they are all at about the same height and end at the same level here too. All right. Then I'm going to do another quick little swipe of gray here as a sketch. That's going to be the hillside here where our graveyard is. So we have our little foreground here, our wall area. This will be where our gate is, and then we have our sky. So once we get everything blocked out, we're going to grab our largest brush and we're going to start filling in our background colors. And I'm going to work from the top down here as per usual. And I'm going to start with my gorgeous cobalt blue. And I'm going to mix in a little bit of black. Now we want a night sky here, but we don't want to go too black because we want to have a nice contrast with the black silhouette of the gate later. So I'm going to take this dark blue up on this very top for one wide stripe. And then I'm going to add a little bit of blue and a little bit of white for the next stripe right underneath. And by the time I get to my hillside, I want it to be a much lighter blue. Okay, so we're just walking our way down there with our colors, doing sort of like a steely blue gray night sky color. right. And long brush strokes going all the way off the canvas. And we're wanting to now keep the outermost sketch line, or the line that we want to keep for our shapes here. And even though we're going to be going into this section here, we want to keep our brush strokes going horizontal. Okay, so you can see that a little bit of a gradation, and then let's take it even lighter. Here, right where our hillside meets the sky. I'm gonna come in there with that light blue and just go with the shape, but then make all of my brush strokes horizontal as well, and bring that up to our blue-gray here. And we're just going to blend them all together. So we have a nice night sky gradation. Don't be shy, get in there and blend. We don't want stripes, we want a gradation. All right, pretty simple. Okay, for these smaller section areas here, I'm going to grab my medium-sized brush for this. And actually, not brown yet. Let's do gray. So I'm gonna take a medium gray, similar to the color that we were using to do our little pre-sketch. And I'm going to take this brush and this color into where my stone walls are going to be, and fill this section in with that medium gray. So just working from the top down here, just getting our sections figured out and filled in with the base colors. And I'm sticking with the back and forth brush strokes in here as well. We want a nice clean transition where our colors meet. And you want to have a little bit of water in your paint, but not so much to where things bleed. Just a little bit to keep the paint going smooth. All right. And we're gonna do this guy on the other side too, of course. Just matching it. And over here I started too low, so I'm just keeping the shape that I want with my sketch there. And I'll cover that initial line with my ground color in just a moment. A very simple background today. Lots of details to add later. All right, you don't need to worry too much about it all being super matte, super all one color. A little bit of variation in the stone I think is a good thing. But we will add stones later too, so no worries if it's a little inconsistent in its color, a little bit of variation, or even if it's just one solid color, that's all right too. All right, moving right along. Then I'm going to do my dirt color, and I'm going to start with a pretty light grayish beige. So this would be black, white, and brown together. And I'm gonna take that brownish beige. It's gonna be a pretty similar color, a little bit darker though, as our wall, because I want it to look like dirt at night, so we have low color because it's dark, but we will have a full moon. Okay, nice clean line there too. Don't want to see any white canvas after our first background step. We want to have everything filled in with color. Keeping those brush strokes horizontal as well. All right, and then I'm going to pinch a little bit more brown in there and a little bit more black too. We'll go with a slightly darker sort of dirt color here. And I want to bring that right up to the wall. And then also have it blend slightly into our hillside. And then we are just going to fill this last area in with our gray brown. Maybe not the prettiest color, but I think it actually looks good with the blue. All right. Now we have our three areas, our sky, our wall, and our dirt. Graveyard, dirt, and outside the graveyard dirt, I suppose. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little bit of a slightly darker shadow color version of that same brownish gray. And I'm gonna take it right next to the wall just to get a little bit of wet on wet blending in our nice white paint. Just for a little bit of color variation. And now we have to let this layer dry before we add all of our fun stuff. So let's step away and let this dry 100%, and then we'll come back and add a whole bunch more. I'll see everyone in a few. Hello again, beautiful artists. Skye here with an exciting channel announcement. Intermediate courses are now available through YouTube memberships. The program is called the Paint Along with Skye Gold Stars program, and membership includes exclusive access to 2 longer tutorials per month where I take you through step-by-step one more challenging painting. One painting, 2 parts. With the Gold Stars program, I'll be taking you through a more traditional painting process where we will use a reference photo and a grid sketch method. If you've been painting along with me for a while, and you'd like to challenge yourself a little bit, I invite you to join us. Membership includes sized, printable reference photos, access to the bi-weekly videos, which are uploaded on the 1st and 3rd Thursdays of the month. Membership will also, of course, support me and the channel and allow me to keep providing the free tutorials and the intermediate program for everyone in perpetuity. To find out more information and to get signed up, simply click the join button on any of my videos or on my channel homepage. I can't wait to get creative with you. See you soon. Okay, welcome back, artists. We have a completely dry background and fresh colors here on our piece of palette paper. So I have black and white, a little bit of cadmium yellow, and a little bit more of my cobalt blue. I rinsed my brushes and got some fresh water at break. Let's go ahead and jump right back on into it. So before we work on the foreground here, let's finish off the background, and I'm going to add a yellow moon. So I have my second to smallest detail brush here, and I'm just going to come up here and add a nice little spooky moon, full moon here, just as a yellow circle. And I mixed my yellow with a fair amount of white, otherwise you're not going to get full coverage power here. Okay, and just doing the best I can to create a circle. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of white without washing my brush. And I'm just gonna tap a little bit of texture into my moon with my white, highlighting one side primarily. I'm just kind of going along the right hand side there and then just tapping a little bit of texture into the moon just to sort of create the illusion of craters there. And then we're going to let that dry. We're not going to touch it because we got to bring our branches through our moon later and add some spooky clouds. So we're going to let that dry for now. And I'm going to come down here into my graveyard. And I'm going to take a gray color for my gravestones. And let's do it a little bit darker. I'm going to start adding a couple of those guys in here for our little peekaboo look through here for our graveyard gate. So I'm just doing a little curved top and flat bottom there for a gray gravestone. And then I'll do maybe a rectangular one coming up from the hill. With perhaps a little bit of a curved top as well. Just kind of varying the shapes. Okay, and then I'm gonna do sort of a smaller one in the background here. And just so we can see that it's a graveyard and that it's extra spooky, make some of these a little bit more recognizable with a religious symbol. So I'm gonna add a cross, which is just the simplest symbol, but you could add any one that you like. But these are kind of iconic. And then I'm gonna do one more little guy kind of reaching over the hill as well. Okay, so I just have a couple little gravestones, super simple. Gonna take a little bit of a dark gray and real quick just find my little horizon line there and do a little bit of shadow horizontally around my gravestones that I can see the bottom of. And then I'm gonna do a few brush strokes back and forth to sort of mimic that little like hill step up. Okay, looking good. Very simple. And let's let that area dry a little bit too. And let's work on our stones. So I'm gonna start with a light gray, mostly white. And I'm just gonna come in here and start adding some stones that are just gonna be rectangular. And we're gonna mix up the colors here. So I'm gonna leave a little space for a different color. And there's different ways that you can lay your stones. You can go through it all with this light white color first, and then come back and add a second color. Or you can do one row at a time. Or you can jump all around, however you like. But what we're going to do is we're going to have a darker gray here for these stones in these spaces that I'm leaving. Okay, so we have our background medium gray, and then we have stones in a light gray and a dark gray. So we have different colors going on, different tones, and it's okay to have a little bit of variation here in our stones. Okay, that makes it look a little bit more stone-like. And they don't all have to be the same size either. I think I might be better off building one row at a time, just because it's a little easier to get the shapes similar sizes. But it's okay, they're stones, so they're natural shapes rather than bricks, which would all be the same size. And I think a little bit of sort of weatheredness on the stones adds to the spooky look too. All right. And that actually got a little too close. There. So I'm just taking my medium gray from the background again. I just found a little space in between there again. All right. So that's about the look that we're going for. So you can see on some of my light ones, I added a little bit of darkness, and some of the darker ones, I added a little bit of light. So we're just playing around here with shades of gray. And we don't want to necessarily have one gray stone the same gray on top of the other. So I'm alternating here. So rather than this red on top, I'm going in the middle there. I'm just playing back and forth with my two colors. And you don't even really need to wash your brush in between these colors, since we're just playing all with gray. So there's no worry about muddiness. We're just getting lots of nice tones. A little bit time consuming, but fairly simple. All right, and then some will just come off the edge, like so. Color variation. Okay, looking good. A little bit more black on that guy. Okay. I do this stone technique in a few different tutorials. There's a really popular and pretty cute one where we have an autumn bridge, and that's another good one where I use these same kind of stones with this same shades of gray technique, if you wanted to check that out. All right, I'm just building my way from the bottom up, but you could do the top down too. Either way is just fine. And we're just going to work our way all the way through the wall until we are at the top. All right, slightly different sizes. And it looks like I almost have a full row of white here on the side, so I wanted to make sure that next one is darker. All right. Moving right along. Almost have our wall built. Just a few more stones. And maybe a little bit more color variation on some of these guys. It really adds to the overall look. All right, pretty cute. Looks like they kind of got smaller as I went up. But oh well. We'll try to make the other side a little bit more varied. All right, and now we're just going to repeat those same steps here on the other side. Same idea for the other wall. If you did bigger stones, this would take not quite so long. That's all right. It's all about the details. It's easy to get caught up in each step when you're painting, but it's all about the sum of its parts. Okay. Dark gray. Little details. A little bit of water. Don't want things bleeding here either, though. Looking good. I do want to mention that if you are painting along today, I do love seeing everyone's artwork. And the way that you can do that is by joining my Facebook group called the Art Club, which is free to join for all my students. All you need to do is follow the link below. We'll take you over to Facebook. You gotta have a Facebook too. And you can post your art there so that I can see it. It's truly the best part of my day. Absolutely love seeing what everyone is doing. I love seeing you guys paint the tutorials, but I also love to just see your own art, whatever you're creating. So we'd love to have you over there. Again, that is free to join. Okay. And you can make a post too. You don't have to be like an admin or anything. I made that for you guys. I see sometimes people adding photos to comments, but you can make your own posts. We have a few thousand people over there, but don't worry, we won't all see the work. I'll see it though. The posts do have to get approved by me because we're having a lot of spammers over there. So I did set the post approval on, so don't be confused or distraught. I'm seeing them, and I kind of like that too because then I always get to see them. Truly brightens my day to see you guys over there. And I also just like to hear comments below too, if you guys are enjoying. I'd love to know where this channel is going. It's truly reached already all over the world. It's in retirement homes, medical facilities, like rehab facilities, nursing homes, schools, even just kitchen counters, backyard parties, lots of places. So rewarding to see. All right. Building there from the bottom up, and I'm almost done, probably just 2 more rows here. Getting these guys all filled in. right. Nice different stones, each one unique. All right, just a few more here, and we'll be ready to move on. Make sure that your grays are different enough to where you can see them show up. Don't want to match the background color too much. All right, looking good. Okay, I'm also going to take a little bit of black, and I'm gonna do a quick outline here along the top of my wall. And also along the bottom. I like to usually do one line first all the way across, holding my hand very still, and then I come back over it to make it solid. We're doing very, very, very light pressure with every step. Don't push your brush too far down, or you're gonna get a really thick line. Very light-handed. And our moon up there is almost dry. But I think we'll still give that a moment to dry. And I just went on the top and bottom. I've not done these sides yet. I'm gonna do a few more little final touches back here in my graveyard. So I'm gonna take my black and I'm gonna outline one side of my gravestones. And have a nice dark shadow here at the bottom of each one of them as well. So very slight little tiny step there. And then we have our full moon, and I want to add a little bit of added spookiness, added whimsy. So I'm going to take my full moon light yellow color and I'm going to do a quick highlight on some of my gravestones with this yellow color. Like they are being illuminated there in the yellow moonlight. And then I'm gonna do a few tiny little brush strokes right along the hill as well. And if you went too heavy-handed anywhere, you can grab some of your medium gray and tone things down if you need to. Just like so. Should be pretty simple to do. Very small little step there. All right, I think we are ready to do our gate. So I'm gonna grab my black again, and now I'm gonna come alongside here, along the sides of our wall. Okay, and now we don't want to completely cover our little graveyard scene with our gate. So I'm gonna go right in the center here with my first line. Actually, my first line I'm gonna do horizontal. Looks like I reached not my gate here on the other side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cheat a little bit and add a little bit more black on top. Maybe thicken up this line too while I'm at it. And then we're gonna come up from the bottom a tiny bit for this bottom line. And in my mind, this is like a wrought iron, so we want it to be pretty thick, whereas these were more just shadows. And in fact, what's bothering me is that this black line is a little too thick, so I'm gonna take some of my base color and just sneak that up there real quick. A little adjustment. Okay, and now the hard part. We're gonna go right in the center. And I'm gonna try my hardest to do a straight line. You could use like a ruler or something to help you if you needed. I should probably be doing. And we want thick wrought iron structure here, but not to the point of where it's covering up our background completely. So we want to peekaboo and see those little gravestones. All right, so that's the center one. And then I'm going to do 2 more up and down lines, sort of cutting this space in thirds. And you can see, I can still see my little gravestones mostly there. And I'm trying, got my breath held. Trying really hard to stay straight. I got a little too thick there. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we want it to be pretty well spaced. It looks pretty good, not too bad. And then I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Up and down in thirds. Right, not too bad. A little wiggly, but fairly straight. Shouldn't have had that second cup of coffee. It's a little bit shaky, but feel very alert. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then the top part here, we're going to do a curved line, and I'm gonna come up about this far. So I'm going to do a little dot there right above my center. And then I'm going to do a half circle shape. Right along the top for the little top sort of decorative part of our gate. And you gotta end this right where the gate ends. You don't wanna go too far over. And as I thicken the line, I sort of try to even things out if I can. All right, and then we're going to do one straight line connecting this middle part. And from these two sides, I'm gonna do little decorative swirls, like the iron was bent. Just for a little decorative element up here. And then these guys are gonna go the other direction. Oof, that wasn't a very good swirl, but I managed to almost save it. Okay, and then two little slight curves here, not full curly cues. From the top, and then we have our gate, very cute. All right, I'm going to grab a little bit of a dark gray right underneath my gate. I'm gonna add a few shadows. It's a little too light there. And then I'm just gonna add a few little stripy back and forth shadows here into the foreground too. And I have just a little bit of paint on my brush. And a little bit of water too. Right near our wall. And then just kind of breaking up this dark grayish brown area. Okay. All right, everyone, home stretch. Let's add some spooky clouds around our moon. So I'm going to take a grayish blue color, so blue, black and white. A little bit more white here. All right, and right next to my moon, just gonna add some cute little cloud shapes. The other night, the moon was doing this so perfectly with these gorgeous rain clouds that we get here in the high desert in the summer. And I was like, oof, so wonderfully spooky. And then I'm gonna do another one right next to it. Just for a little bit more interest here in our sky. And then I filled them in with that blue-gray color. I'm going to add a little bit of a white highlight. Right on the side that the moon would be highlighting. I'm just doing quick little brush strokes there and then kind of wiping off the paint a little bit and coming right where the blue touches the white, blending it slightly. Okay, home stretch, just a few little spooky details to add. I'm gonna do a tree and I'm going to have that come up from over on this side. I'm gonna have two trees actually. And I want to kind of bring the branches out towards the center in a sort of frame for our whole little spooky scene here. And I did my first branch like so. And then you can just kind of build your own little spooky situation with the branches coming off of the main branch. Like so. Okay, cute. Dormant branches. Not quite a September look, more of a late October look. And then I'm going to have one over here too. And I just want to go over a little bit of my moon as well, which I think kind of adds to the spookiness also. And we want a slightly different tree than our one on the other side, but similar in that it's sort of framing the scene. cover my cute clouds too much. Pretty cute. All right. A little bit thicker trunk there, but look at how cute that looks. Okay, I think I need just a tiny bit more of a highlight right in the center here, sort of beckoning us to come inside. And sort of highlighting where the moon would shine too, but not with yellow. That was just a little bit of a light gray. And you can put any other final touches that you might like on your painting, depending on what it needs. But that is all the instruction that we have for today's class. So again, please make sure and join us over in the art club so that I can see your art. I'd love to know what you thought of today's painting in the comments section below. Please hit like if you liked this painting. It helps it get spread out to more people so they can have fun and paint along with us. And that's all I have for us. So happy fall, happy pre-Halloween, and until next week, stay creative.